Right now, somewhere near you, someone is standing outside in the cold, away from their desk, away from their kids, lighting a cigarette they've already tried to quit 3 times this year. They know the statistics. Everyone does. The pack in their hand has a photograph of a diseased lung printed directly on it. They're going to smoke it anyway. Over 1 billion people on this planet currently smoke, and tobacco kills roughly 8 million of them a year, more than car accidents, malaria, and murder combined. So here's the actual question, and it's not the one anti-smoking campaigns keep asking. Nobody lights up because they think it's healthy. The question is, why knowing doesn't matter? And the answer isn't sitting in a modern addiction clinic. It's about 100,000 years older than the cigarette. To find it, you have to go back before tobacco existed as a habit at all. Back to when fire was new technology, and every human alive sat in its smoke every single day, because that smoke was the difference between freezing and not freezing. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors breathed wood smoke constantly. That's not addiction. But every so often, the thing burning wasn't only wood, it was a plant, and some plants release compounds when they burn that do something to a human nervous system. The brain, it turns out, was already built to notice. We carry cannabinoid receptors that had nothing to do with cannabis originally. They regulate mood, appetite, memory. So the first time someone breathed in smoke from the right plant, their brain didn't get confused. It got interested. That's the part almost nobody says out loud. The earliest version of this wasn't a habit. It was a reward, and rewards get repeated. Not because anyone understood chemistry, but because feeling good after doing something specific is exactly the kind of pattern a brain is designed to lock onto. Do a thing, feel different, remember the thing. That loop is ancient. It's the same loop that makes you crave a specific meal, or check your phone for no reason. Add fire and smoke to it 50,000 years ago, and you've built the oldest reward circuit in human behavior around something that happens to be flammable. Now here's where it gets disciplined instead of chaotic. And this matters, because it's the opposite of what you'd expect. For most of human history, this reward loop was contained by ritual. In Central Asia around 500 BC, cannabis was burned in sealed burial ceremonies, not passed around casually. Herodotus described the Scythians sealing themselves inside tents to inhale hemp smoke off heated stones, and archaeologists later dug up the exact braziers he described. In the Americas, tobacco arrived even earlier and meant even more. Indigenous cultures treated it as sacred, used in healing, in binding agreements between tribes, blown over someone as a blessing. A shaman smoking wasn't relaxing, he was working. Across nearly every civilization that used inhaled smoke, Egypt's Ebers Papyrus prescribing it for lung disease around 1550 BC, India's Ayurvedic tradition of smoke drinking for specific ailments, the common thread is control. Specific plant, specific dose, specific occasion, specific purpose. The ritual was the guardrail. It kept an ancient reward circuit from turning into a runaway one. So if smoking used to be disciplined, sacred, occasional, how did we end up with 1 billion people compulsively smoking factory cigarettes on their lunch break? That's not an ancient story. That's a 400-year-old one, and it's the part that actually explains the addiction, not just the habit. When tobacco reached Europe in the 1500s, the ritual came off first. The plant stayed, the reverence didn't. By the 1800s, it was everywhere. No ceremony required. Then, in the 20th century, tobacco companies did something no ancient shaman ever had the tools to do. They engineered the plant itself. They chemically manipulated nicotine delivery, adjusting pH, adding compounds like ammonia, so it hit the brain faster and harder than anything in nature, then cleared the bloodstream quickly enough to make you want another one within the hour. They knew it caused cancer. Their own scientists had confirmed it internally, decades before the public found out. They marketed it to teenagers anyway. In other words, the ancient reward circuit didn't change. What changed is that something got built specifically to exploit it, stripped of every ritual limit that used to slow it down, and mass-produced cheap enough to put in every pocket on Earth. Your ancestor's brain evolved a system that says, "This felt good. Remember it. Do it again." That system was never built to handle a product engineered by chemists to maximize exactly that response, available at every gas station, 7 days a week. No ceremony, no waiting for the right occasion, no elder deciding whether you're ready. Which brings us back to that person outside, lighting up despite everything they know. They're not failing at willpower. They're running software that's 100,000 years old, built for occasional, ritualized, deeply meaningful smoke exposure, and it's been handed a modern product specifically optimized to override it. The craving isn't stupidity. It's an ancient survival mechanism getting hijacked by a very modern machine. Every time a lighter clicks, some very old part of the brain recognizes the sound. It's been waiting by fires for longer than civilization has existed. It just never learned that this time, nobody's watching the smoke for meaning. Somebody just wants you to buy the next pack.